Okay, so please tell me about yourself.
Yeah, sure, Vipendra. So myself, Premanand, I'm having an overall IT experience of about 7.4 years. I started as a fresher working for Infosys. I had worked for like two of the clients. One was for Ameriprise Wealth Management, where it was like mostly into account migration from IPI because Ameriprise had acquired IPI, and we built the application from scratch using the technology mainframe. And then I moved on to work for Bank of America. It was into credit cards and payment systems. So what we try to do is like they send us a batchly feed, a night feed, and we try to validate the transactions that which are sent by the merchants, right? Are they genuine, and does it has any checks? So that was also like mostly into enhancements and maintenance. So once my tenure was done, I moved on to work for Thomson Reuters, where they had a business unit known as finance and risk, and it was like bought by Blackstone Investment, and it was rebranded as Refinitiv India Private Limited. So they have a system like, for example, the trade execution platform they had. They named it as
Oh,
Beta.
okay. So currently you are working in NTT data, right?
Yeah, I'm working for Entity Data, and the end client is Fidelity Investment. Over
Mm-hmm.
here, I'm part of a mainframe modernization squad where we are like re-engineering the existing mainframe code to move to the distributed application.
So you are a part of mainframe, right?
Yeah.
JCL, COBOL, DB2,
Yeah.
vSAM. Okay. So have you worked on Java technology?
Yeah, I've worked on Java. So I've working on Java, Spring Boot, and Spring Data JPA, and building up website.
Great. That's why I'm looking your profile.
Okay,
Because of your Java and other things was not mentioned. That's why I ask you. So let's
sure.
see. Start with the core Java part. About Java 8
Yeah,
and Spring Boot, JPA, database, all kind of things.
yeah.
And microservices.
I have worked on it, a couple of them.
Okay, so in microservices, how do you have work microservices? Suppose you have a lot of APIs, have you developed, but you want to maintain. So, what kind of design pattern you followed?
So when it comes to a mainframe, see, not a mainframe, microservices, right? So we have like two independent microservices communicating using Kafka, which is like a message brokers. So we make it as like asynchronous. The other one is like we use event sourcing. So for example, like let's say there are like or three to four individual microservices based on the event sources. They try to communicate. So whenever any event creation happens, they do communicate, and also we can what you call that as we can also have that logs like at what time what event was
No,
created and which micro
that is okay. That is okay.
that mouse.
Yeah, that is okay. But in microservices have some design pattern, right? Design pattern like that gateway API, circuit breakers. You know about that?
This thing, okay, you are speaking on that context. So we had
Yeah.
also worked on like history command like circuit breaker. So whenever like for example we have a downstream microservices API call, so and we have like a timeout. For example, if that doesn't come out, then we use a method, and then we just use that as a design, one of the design pattern, and those were the only things I have worked on,
So
not like into two.
you know the discovery registry.
We use a Eureka server because for any microservices, right, for it
Okay,
to
so
get
in a Eureka
forward.
server, so in a Eureka server, how do you register all these APIs? What process is
So what happens is like this thing we have to have built a microservice like that, and you have this Eureka server dependency, which you just put it in the form of pom.xml, and then you just enable Eureka server. And in lower versions of Spring Boot, we also have this what do you call that as discovery client. And then what you try to do is like we just mention in your microservices where it has to go, and these things. If the default port you have changed it from 8567 or something, so that it goes and it gets registered. And even for the Eureka
no,
server, right, you
yeah,
just give like
okay, got it. Suppose you using dependency, right? So every dependencies have on Eureka by default have. So suppose you have 100 modules, for examples. Okay.
Okay.
So in 100 modules you have developed based on the Spring Boot. So
Okay.
all modules have separate Eureka server, or it will work for all 100 modules as a common IP address. You know about the common IP address or something. So you can endpoint
So
would be one and
yeah.
call to each and other APIs. So how do you process it?
So over here we have not worked like for in bulk of like 100 modules, and if it has been like there, the design patterns that which I had seen the company following is like they do separate out the Eureka server. They just branch it out. They don't like for every 100 module they use the same Eureka server. They just branch it out and make sure that they communicate with each other, and they'll find it out. So that I have seen, but in the projects that I have worked on it, they use single Eureka server for the discovery of the microservices.
Okay, okay, got it, got it. So next question related to
Okay.
Java. So in Java, you know the OOP concept.
Yeah.
So in OOPs, for example, we have a normal class. Okay.
Okay.
Class A here have a method and variables. All things is there with the main method. This is our as a scenario class. I want
Okay.
to implement through this class all features like that inheritance uh, and polymorphism and encapsulation and abstraction. So, can be possible to all these things exist in this class?
You cannot do everything. For example, you can do an extension. For example, like let's take an example. Let's say we have a class vehicle, and like let's say we have this default implementation. For example, engine start, braking, acceleration, and other things. Either you can just define it as a part of an interface, because usually as a this thing you can put it in interface,
No,
and then
interface, Prem, just you see. Interface
oh,
is a
okay,
different thing. Interface and
yeah,
abstract class is a different thing. I will give the scenario.
yeah, okay, okay,
You know Java actually have API, Java programming
yes,
interface. We cannot
yes.
develop in-build application. In-build means desktop based application. You know about that,
Yes. Okay.
right?
Okay. Okay. Got it.
So why? Because of Java have some diamond problems.
Yeah. You
Diamond
cannot have multi-level
means multiple class cannot be implement in another
inherited.
class. So that's why here came to
Yes.
interface. You just make it as a
Yes. Correct.
just to make it as a abstract function. Define your abstract function and you can implement in the class. So this is the different thing. I am asking
Okay.
in object because of inheritance, because of Java is telling uh, Java is a completely not a uh, object oriented programming, because of here have
Yeah.
some primitive data type. Primitive data
Primitive.
type is not a part of
Yes.
object. Okay.
Yes.
So other things are, if you making class, so it will be treated as a object oriented. Okay.
Yes.
So just one moment.
Yeah. Yeah, sure. Sure.
So, uh, so I will tell you. First, you give the scenario. I will give uh, about that why one class exists in the all process. I will tell you. So,
Okay.
suppose you go to inheritance, go to in uh, uh, polymorphism, abstraction, encapsulation. So I just want to ask you, suppose this class scenario as I have, so how do you feel where will happen encapsulation, where will happen abstraction? Suppose class A
Where
have,
will happen?
yeah, class
Okay.
A have, suppose method M1 have, and we have defined also as a main method for calling to M1. This is the scenario. M1 method you can
Okay.
treat as a return type, what type you want to, void type or any specific return type. So you can like that assume that, but have a method. So how do you, how much experience you have right now?
I have around 7.4
4.
overall.
So I think you can
And when it
explain it. You can explain it. Yeah, yeah, please tell.
okay. So when it comes to the OOPS principle, right? So when it comes to an encapsulation, so you don't want any other object to access your data members. So if you want to protect it, you give it with
No,
a private. You
protected,
declare your
protected is a different thing. Protected means
no,
suppose
not
I
protected.
want
You
to
might
some property I don't want to access the outside, but we
yeah,
have some mechanism. Through the mechanism, I want to give the access. For example, you can
yeah,
use getter and setter, but you
yes,
cannot
private and getters and
directly
setters you can use it.
directly you cannot call the particular variable. That's why we are using.
Yes,
So this is a not a association with the encapsulation. Encapsulation, if you go in the definition, encapsulation just like binding the data and variables into the single unit, right?
yeah,
This is the definition.
along the members as well. The
So
functionalities you just bundle it into a
unit
single
is a
class.
real time entity or any blueprint.
Which one are you asking about?
Entity.
Entity.
Yeah.
Entity is a blueprint. Entity is a blueprint because it defines, like for example, like let's say even if you
No,
have a class,
no,
right?
no, no, no,
It,
no, no, no. Class is a blueprint
okay.
because of class will not execute directly.
Yeah,
You can
because
make
it's
it as a
your
mechanism for the processing. So here need to be a one blueprint. But
yes,
entity is a real time. So means if you go with the definition, you analyze the definition, you will get the answer. Entity is a real time. Real time means object is a real time. If you bind the variable
yeah,
and method into the object, that call be as a encapsulation, means your variable and methods are encapsulated in a capsule. If you, in other words, you can say the capsule. Inside the capsule, so many mechanism can be put there. If you take in body,
yes,
action will be started. So that action will be started, that will be abstraction process. So in the programming term, you can say if you bind it variable and method in single unit, means you are ready for the execution. So here will
yeah,
come as a abstraction. How to abstract the this encapsulated value. So that call be object dot get method, because of here
yeah,
we hiding the complexity of behaviors, right? Behaviors means
yes,
we nothing we write here something, just will call the simple syntax and you get the output. Similar
yeah,
manner, if your capsule gone in your body, so how it is working you don't know, but you know,
yes,
you feel, yeah, I am going to right way. This capsule is providing to me as a positive result. So that things you can feel that. So similar manner have a abstraction. Other things I tell you means if you have one class, that class will be exist in the whole process. Means inheritance and polymorphism everywhere can be exist.
yeah. Because
Because
we
what is
extend it and you
superclass?
can
What is superclass?
is the parent class
Parent
from
class.
where the
Parent
child class
class.
gets inherited.
Parent class of all Java classes.
Object,
Object. Yes.
yes,
So object by default implement to all classes. Extend to all
yeah,
classes. For
yes,
example, you have written this class. If you want to use equal method to string or any kind of methods you are using, so you can directly overwrite in the your custom class, right?
yes,
So means
correct,
means your this custom class by default take as a inheritance from the object class. So your
correct,
inheritance concept will be clear through the through the one class. Similar
Yeah.
manner, you overriding overloading concept you want to define. So you can call this particular method override method of object class. So your
Yeah.
polymorphism concept will be clear. So I think within one class you can verify the all thing about that. So that's why I ask you about the host concept.
Got it. Yeah, because even because in object classes acts as a base class, and what all the methods, like as you pointed
Okay,
out,
okay,
equals,
okay.
has to
Actually, time is
boost.
going. So now we ask one more question regarding to coding because of coding is a mandatory part.
Okay.
So other technical team will check the coding scenario. So
Sure.
based on will not ask to next round as a coding. They will ask to you only the theoretical concept. That's why here
Sure.
I have coding concept. You know about the comparator object,
Yeah.
comparator interface.
Yes.
So how do you implement to comparator? Just 1 minute. Okay, just 1 minute. I will give the time for 10 minutes. I will ask two
Sure.
other question also.
Okay.
So you have given. I want to ask related to JPA. Why we are using JPA?
So JPA is like one of the API which has been like given by the Sun Microsystems even before it was acquired by Oracle. So there we have this Java persistent API, and for this there is like various implementations like as a ORM framework. We have like something known as Hibernate and Toplink and Eclipse. So these are like some of the implementations that which are given for data JPA. And when it comes to Spring Boot,
Okay, okay,
uh,
okay, okay. I got it. Yeah,
okay.
yeah, I got it. But what is advantage?
In JPA, what you can try to do is like the frameworks that which we use are non-invasive, right? So we don't usually extend it. We always use the interface name, the parent class name to achieve the loose coupling. So we always go for like, for
This is
example,
uh,
uh,
this is this is one advantage. Another.
the other one is like already the implementations are being given. So for example, like let's say if you want to go for
I
a
am just
plain
I
JDB.
am just asking last point, but you have given okay. I am okay with your answer, but another advantage have because of JPA will work database independent,
Yeah.
right?
Uh, yeah,
Means
we can also,
you can plug MySQL, Oracle, MS SQL,
yes,
whatever database you want to plug. So this is the main advantage of that using to JPA.
yes.
This is the backbone of because of some time company don't want to invest more money to in the application. Hey,
Yeah,
so
yes.
in that scenario, they can just uh, use to just make it prepare the database structure and plug with the application. So that scenario can be work, right?
Yeah,
So this is
it's
the
correct.
advantage. Uh, Another part, in Spring Boot, how to create the project of Spring Boot. What process you will follow?
So usually, you're asking for an creating a new one.
No, 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 no.
The
Not
process.
I'm asking war. I want asking how to create project structure.
Okay, so for that we have like a Spring initializer. There you go, and you
So
have an UI.
have you used CLI command line interface?
CLI, I have not used it that
Okay, okay,
extensively.
no problem, no problem.
I have mostly like for creating a new project, we go for a Spring initializer, and you just give in your project name, whatever build version, Java,
Okay,
and the
okay, got it, got it,
dependencies.
got it, got it, got it. Other part, what is role of Spring Boot application annotations?
Spring Boot annotations
Hmm.
for I mean like before this thing is like you want to give some metadata to the program or to the variables or to the methods, so we use that. For example, we have this auto wired. What happens is like whenever the container gets created, it goes and scans for all the classes which is has been like annotated with auto wired, or you use like for example at the rest controller, and you use at the
No,
rate
no, no,
service
no, 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 no,
for
no.
that.
You're going wrong because of Spring Boot annotation have work other things. You
Doing
know
auto
configuration,
configuration is what trying to,
configuration,
yeah,
component
auto
management.
configurations. We use auto configuration, right? Because Spring Boot is nothing but like we have like all
Yeah, auto
the
configuration will do that, but
yes,
here have only three component. Okay, so that is okay, fine. So I have done the theoretical part. So now I am moving to programmatical part. You just you write this code. I will clear your interview.
sure, okay.
Okay.